Hello everyone, my name is Priya Ashok Lankenavar and my topic is soft computing under the guidance of Professor Bhavyam. So what is soft computing? Soft computing is a field of computer science which makes use of inexact solutions for problems which has no known method to compute exact solutions. It uses imprecision, uncertainty, partial truth and approximation as input. The principal constituents of soft computing are evolutionary computation, neural networks, machine learning and fuzzy logic. So as the name suggests, soft computing, there has to be something called as hard computing. So let's take a simple example and see what is the major difference between soft computing and hard computing. So suppose we are given a problem to compute a factorial of a number. So we know exactly how to compute it. We know a certain procedure or algorithm how to proceed further. So we know what input what exactly the output has to be. So this is hard computing. That is a conventional computing. But whereas in soft computing, we don't have a precise input. This is all based on approximation. And the output is also based on the approximation. So the major differences between hard computing and soft computing are: the hard computing is a conventional computing. It requires precisely stated analytical model. That is, we require a particular algorithm. So whereas in soft computing, it's tolerant of imprecision. Hard computing often requires a lot of computation time. Soft computing can solve some real-world problems in reasonably less time. Hard computing is not suited for real-world problems for which ideal model is not present. Soft computing is suited for real-world problems. And hard computing, it requires full truth, it requires precise and accurate input, and it has high cost for solution. But whereas soft computing, it can work with partial truth, imprecise input, and there is low cost for solution. So what is the objective of this presentation? The major objective of this presentation is to develop intelligent machines to provide solutions to real-world problems which are not modeled or too difficult to model mathematically. Its aim is to exploit the tolerance for approximation, uncertainty, imprecision, and partial truth in order to achieve close resemblance with human-like decision making. So the first constituent, evolutionary computing. Evolutionary computing is a subfield of artificial intelligence. It's a family of algorithms inspired by biological evolution. So as the name suggests, evolutionary computation. So it is based on Darwin's survival of the fittest theory. Genetic algorithm is the major technique of evolutionary computation. So we humans are all made up of cells. Each cell contains nucleus, whereas nucleus contains chromosome contains DNA. DNA are the thread-like substances that store biological information of all living organisms. And this is the genetic algorithm flow chart. So first, the process starts as here. It starts with the selection of the fittest individuals from a population, that is, decode the population, and then they produce offsprings which inherit the characteristics of the parents, which will be added to the next generation. That is done by selection and crossover. If parents have better fitness, their offsprings will be better than parents. So this process keeps on iterating, and at the end, a generation with the fittest individuals will be found. So that is our new population. So here there are two things. One is crossover and mutation. Crossover is just like our human mating, but whereas in mutation, there are few changes to the new population. Next one is the artificial neural networks. Artificial neural networks are simplified models of biological neural networks. Like humans, they learn from experience. This is a picture of the human neuron. The major parts of the human neuron are the cell body, dendrites, nucleus, axon, and axon terminals. Dendrites are the parts where the input is accepted. And next is the soma. Soma constitutes of nucleus and the body. So it processes the input. Axon turns the processed input to output. And the axon terminals, which are also called as synapses, transfer the input to output. So this is the ANN algorithm. Here you can see x1, x2, x3 are the inputs, and W's are all the weights. Weights are the certain random numbers which are assigned to the inputs, and then you have a transfer function, and then there is activation function, and then there is the output. So how does this work? we first assign weights to all linkages, and then we use the input and the hidden nodes to find the transfer function. Using the activation function of the input, we find the activation rate of the output, find the error rate, and then recalibrate the input or the hidden nodes, and then use the weights and the error found, cascade down the error to the hidden nodes, recalibrate the nodes, and repeat until the criteria is met. So any algorithm, any artificial neural network algorithm can have one hidden layer or more than one hidden layer. Next is the machine learning. Machine learning is a study of algorithms that improve their performance at some tasks with experience. That is, we can say as a computer program is set to learn from experience E with respect to some class of tasks T and performance measure of P if its performance at tasks in T as measured by P improves with experiment E. So there are three types of machine learning. The first one is the supervised learning, second one is the unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So supervised learning, as the name suggests, supervised learning. So there is a supervisor or a teacher who is there to guide throughout the process. So training data consists of pairs of input and the desired output. Classification, it's also defined as classification. That is, the data is classified. The major algorithms in this are multi-layer perceptron and k-nearest algorithm. Next is unsupervised learning. This is learning by doing. As the name suggests, unsupervised, there is no teacher present. So no sample output are provided to the network against which it can measure its predictive performance for given vector of input. It's referred as clusters. Data is characterized into clusters by their similarity. Next one is the reinforcement learning. In reinforcement learning, it's inspired by the behavior psychology. Input-output pairs need not be present, suboptimal actions need not be corrected. For example, suppose we take a chess game. We all play chess games in our phones or in our computers. So this chess game, there is reinforcement learning present in the game. So it learns when it wins against the user or the player. It learns its moves based on its winning strokes. Next is the machine learning process. This is the usual process, as you see. Step 1 is the gathering data from the various substances. Step 2 is cleaning data, that is pre-processing. Step 3 is model building, selecting the right machine learning algorithm. Step 4 is gathering insights from the model results, that is to make changes. Step 5 is data virtualization and transforming the results into graphs. Next is the fuzzy logic. Fuzzy logic, as the name suggests, not clear, distinct, or blur. So it deals with reasoning that is approximate rather than that is clear and exact. See, as the name suggests, fuzzy. Fuzzy logic has been extended to handle the concept of partial truth, where the truth value may range from completely true and completely false. So the completely true means 0 and ones, that is completely true and false. True means 1 and false means 0. But whereas in fuzzy logic, the partial values may range from 0 point something to 1. 0.0 to 1 basically. So here is a small example. Suppose we ask a question, is Ram honest? In Boolean logic we say either yes or no, but whereas in fuzzy logic we say extremely honest, he may be very honest, he may be sometimes honest, or he may be extremely dishonest. And this is the process how it goes. There is fuzzifier. First we give the input to the fuzzifier. Fuzzifier is the one which converts the crisp input to linguistic variables using membership functions stored in the fuzzy intelligence. Next, this input is given to the intelligence, and in the intelligence it contains the rules. So intelligence is the database of if then rules. It defines the membership functions of the fuzzy sets, and then this variation is given to the defuzzifier. The defuzzifier converts the fuzzy output of the intelligence to the crisp output using membership functions analogous to the ones used by the fuzzifier output. And next we get the crisp output. Here are the applications. First one is the robots. In robots, we mainly deal with human-like intelligence for input processing, adaptation to environment by learning, and evolution prediction. Next is the transportation. Speed computation is one which is progressing nowadays, and driverless cars. Everybody is moving towards it. Next is healthcare. In healthcare, It works towards providing better and advanced aids that assist the physician, rapid identification of diseases and diagnosis in real world. And it also is useful in medical image registration, like using the genetic algorithm. So, it's mainly based on machine learning techniques to solve certain prognostic problems. Next is agriculture, to study soil and water enzymes related to crop growth, analysis, design, control of food processing, and design support in precision farming. Next is finance. In finance, it's majorly profit maximization, risk minimization. The present trend in finance is fuzzy evaluation of the internal rate of return. That's it. Yeah. So soft computing is very effective when applied to real world problems that are not able to be solved by traditional hard computing. Soft computing enables industry to be innovative due to its characteristics like tractability, low cost, and high machine intelligence quotient. So here are the references. Thank you.